We often get caught up in the mix of emotions, such as love, care, and sadly, dislike. This complicated tango of feelings can be confusing, as it makes us wonder why people might feel unfriendly toward us. To solve this problem, we turn to the valuable teachings of Buddhism, a spiritual tradition that gives us insights into human feelings, emotions, and relationships. In this video, we will start a journey to learn about the three main reasons people may come to hate us according to Buddhist teachings. Buddhism, with its wealth of wisdom and deep knowledge, serves as an excellent guide to uncover the reasons behind the negativity that clouds our human connections. By exploring the spiritual lessons of Buddhism, our goal is not only to explain why some people don't like us, but also to give you the tools to create a more peaceful and caring life. This journey will be both eye-opening and life-changing as we look into the main ideas of Buddhism and how they help us understand why people might not like us. Ignorance, the darkness within. The first reason people may come to hate us, as illuminated by Buddhism, is ignorance. This ignorance, not to be confused with a lack of education, pertains to our misunderstanding of the nature of reality, the self, and the interconnectedness of all beings. In the eyes of Buddhism, ignorance is the root cause of suffering, and it is therefore vital to comprehend how it influences our interactions and relationships. Ignorance and the self. In Buddhism, the concept of the self is scrutinized with a keen eye. It teaches us that our perception of a separate, unchanging self is an illusion. This illusion of self is often the breeding ground for misunderstandings, conflicts, and, ultimately, hatred. When we believe in the solidity of our own identity and act accordingly, we tend to disregard the perspectives, feelings, and experiences of others. In doing so, we create a division between self and other, fostering a sense of entitlement, ego, and self-centeredness. This egocentrism, stemming from ignorance, can lead people to dislike us. When we prioritize our desires, opinions, and needs over those of others, we sow the seeds of resentment. People naturally gravitate away from those who exhibit self-centered behavior. The antidote to this ignorance, according to Buddhism, is to recognize the interdependence of all things and the fluid nature of the self. By understanding that the self is not a static entity, but a process of constant change and interconnectedness, we can begin to break down the barriers that isolate us from others. Ignorance and empathy. Empathy, the ability to understand and share the feelings of another, is a fundamental component of harmonious relationships. Ignorance obstructs the development of empathy, as it limits our capacity to see the world through the eyes of others. In Buddhism, empathy is cultivated through mindfulness and the practice of loving-kindness. Mindfulness allows us to become aware of our own thoughts and emotions, while loving-kindness encourages us to develop compassion for all beings, irrespective of our differences. By overcoming ignorance and developing empathy, we become better equipped to understand and connect with others. This, in turn, can prevent the formation of hatred, as people are naturally drawn to those who empathize with their experiences and emotions. Ignorance and conflict. Hatred often finds fertile ground in conflict, and ignorance is a common catalyst for such conflicts. When we are unaware of the interconnectedness of all beings and fail to understand the consequences of our actions, we may engage in behavior that harms others. Buddhism teaches the principle of karma, which emphasizes the relationship between our actions and their consequences. Ignorance can lead to unwholesome actions, which in turn create suffering for ourselves and those around us. By cultivating awareness and wisdom, we can mitigate the destructive impact of ignorance. This not only helps prevent conflicts, but also fosters understanding and goodwill among people. When we cease to act out of ignorance, we pave the way for more harmonious and loving relationships. Attachment, the chains of desire. The second reason people may come to hate us, according to Buddhist philosophy, is attachment. Attachment is the longing and fixation on external objects or outcomes, often driven by desires and cravings. It can manifest in various forms, such as attachment to material possessions, social status, or specific individuals. Attachment and self-interest. Attachment is closely related to the self-centeredness that arises from ignorance. When we are attached to certain desires and outcomes, we are primarily concerned with our own well-being and happiness. This self-centeredness can lead us to neglect the needs and feelings of others, thereby causing friction in our relationships. Buddhism teaches that attachment is a source of suffering because it binds us to the ever-changing and impermanent nature of the world. Our attachment to things or people can lead to frustration and disappointment when these objects of attachment inevitably change or are lost. The negativity and conflict that can arise from attachment may be a reason why people develop animosity toward us. They may perceive our attachment-driven behavior as selfish and inconsiderate. To overcome attachment, Buddhism suggests that we cultivate contentment and learn to let go of our desires. By doing so, we become less reliant on external circumstances for our happiness and more capable of considering the well-being of others. Attachment and expectations. Another aspect of attachment that can lead to people disliking us is the creation of unrealistic expectations. When we become attached to certain outcomes or behaviors from others, we often set ourselves up for disappointment. Expectations can breed frustration, as they may not align with the actions and intentions of others. When these unmet expectations lead to negative reactions or demands, it can strain relationships and result in people harboring resentment. Buddhism encourages us to release our attachment to specific outcomes and embrace the present moment with an open heart. By relinquishing our expectations and accepting things as they are, we can foster a sense of equanimity that contributes to more peaceful and harmonious interactions with others. Attachment and interdependence. Buddhism emphasizes the interconnectedness of all beings and phenomena. Attachment, on the other hand, often encourages us to view others as separate entities that exist solely for our benefit or satisfaction. When we are attached to people or things, we may unknowingly subject them to our desires and demands, disregarding their own needs and aspirations. This can lead to resentment and, ultimately, hatred from those we have subjected to our attachment. To combat this, Buddhism encourages us to recognize the interdependence of all beings. When we understand that our well-being is intricately linked with the well-being of others, we are less likely to cling to them with selfish desires. Instead, we approach relationships with a sense of compassion, consideration, and respect. Aversion, the seed of hostility. The third reason people may come to hate us, as expounded by Buddhism, is aversion. Aversion is a strong feeling of dislike or repulsion toward something or someone. This emotion can stem from a variety of sources, including fear, anger, and intolerance. Aversion and judgment. Aversion often leads to judgment and criticism. When we harbor aversion towards others, we are prone to viewing them through a negative and critical lens. This judgmental attitude can make people feel unappreciated, misunderstood, and disliked. Buddhism teaches the importance of non-judgment and acceptance. By practicing non-judgment, we are better able to appreciate the uniqueness of each individual and understand that their actions and behaviors are influenced by their own life experiences and circumstances. In the absence of aversion and judgment, we foster a more inclusive and accepting environment that is conducive to building positive and lasting relationships. Aversion and fear. Aversion often arises from fear or discomfort with certain aspects of life or other people. When we allow fear to govern our interactions, it can lead to hostility and strained relationships. Buddhism encourages us to confront our fears and aversions, acknowledging their presence without allowing them to control our actions. By cultivating mindfulness and courage, we can overcome these negative emotions and develop a more open and compassionate attitude toward others. Aversion and compassion. Compassion is the antidote to aversion. Buddhism places great importance on the practice of metta, or loving-kindness, which involves extending love and goodwill to all beings, including those we may feel aversion towards. By actively practicing compassion, we can transform aversion into a positive force for understanding and healing. When people sense our genuine compassion, they are less likely to harbor feelings of hatred towards us, as they recognize our effort to connect and empathize with their experiences. Buddhism offers us a roadmap to understanding and transforming these negative emotions, enabling us to build more compassionate and harmonious relationships. The wisdom of Buddhism underscores the importance of self-awareness, empathy, and mindfulness as tools to overcome ignorance, attachment, and aversion. The power of mindfulness. At the heart of Buddhism lies the practice of mindfulness, a transformative tool that can help us address ignorance, attachment, and aversion. Mindfulness involves being fully present in the moment, observing our thoughts and emotions without judgment. Through this practice, we can begin to unravel the complex tapestry of our own minds, and in turn, improve our interactions with others. Overcoming ignorance with mindfulness. To combat ignorance, we must first recognize its presence within ourselves. Mindfulness enables us to observe our own thought patterns, emotional reactions, and behavior. By doing so, we become aware of the moments when we are acting out of self-centeredness, ego, or a lack of understanding. As we become more mindful of our own ignorance, we open the door to transformation. We can actively work to understand the interconnected nature of all beings, leading to a shift in our perspective from self-centeredness to a more compassionate and empathetic outlook. This newfound awareness not only benefits our own well-being, but also allows us to cultivate understanding and goodwill in our relationships with others. Releasing attachment with mindfulness. Mindfulness also plays a crucial role in helping us release attachment. By being fully present, we can observe our desires, cravings, and the objects of our attachment as they arise. Through this awareness, we gain the ability to pause and question the true source of our happiness. With mindfulness, we can ask ourselves whether holding on to these attachments genuinely leads to our well-being and the well-being of others. By recognizing the impermanent nature of things, we can choose to let go of attachment and find contentment in the present moment. This release from attachment not only alleviates suffering, but also fosters a sense of peace and tranquility that positively impacts our relationships. Transforming aversion through mindfulness. Aversion often arises from strong emotions such as anger, fear, and intolerance. Mindfulness provides us with the tools to navigate these emotions. When we are mindful of our aversion, we can delve deeper into its roots, examining the underlying causes and triggers. This exploration can help us understand the irrationality of our aversion, and in doing so, facilitate its transformation into more positive emotions. For instance, by mindfully investigating the fear or anger that gives rise to aversion, we can uncover the humanity in both ourselves and others, ultimately leading to empathy and compassion. The practice of mindfulness, therefore, equips us with the ability to break the cycle of aversion and replace it with understanding and love. By training our minds to respond more skillfully to challenging emotions, we can build bridges of connection rather than walls of separation. The essence of compassion. In Buddhism, compassion is the cornerstone of positive and harmonious relationships. It is the force that dispels hatred, fosters understanding, and unites us with all beings. Let us explore how compassion can be our guiding light in the quest to understand and address the reasons people may come to hate us. Compassion as the antidote. Compassion is the antidote to hatred and the means to heal the wounds of ignorance, attachment, and aversion. When we approach others with genuine compassion, we send a powerful message of love and understanding. Compassion enables us to see beyond the surface of a person's actions or words, acknowledging their suffering and humanity. This acknowledgement can disarm the hostility that arises from misunderstanding and aversion, opening the door to reconciliation and forgiveness. Self-compassion. Before we can extend compassion to others, we must also cultivate self-compassion. This involves treating ourselves with the same kindness and understanding that we offer to others. Often, our own inner turmoil and self-criticism can be projected onto our interactions with others, leading to misunderstandings and discord. Buddhism teaches that by learning to forgive ourselves for our imperfections and mistakes, we create space for self-improvement and growth. This self-compassion can spill over into our relationships with others, allowing us to be more forgiving, patient, and loving. Acts of kindness. Compassion is not a passive state of mind, but a call to action. Small acts of kindness can have a profound impact on our relationships. Offering a listening ear, a helping hand, or a heartfelt word of encouragement can melt away the barriers of misunderstanding and aversion. In the spirit of Buddhist teachings, these acts of kindness should be done without any expectation of return. By offering compassion freely and without attachment, we create a ripple effect of positivity that can transform the dynamics of our relationships. The path of understanding. Understanding is the key to unraveling the complexities of human emotions and interactions. In Buddhism, understanding extends beyond mere intellectual comprehension. It is a deep awareness of the interconnectedness and impermanence of all things. Let's explore how understanding can be our beacon in addressing the 3 reasons people may come to hate us. Understanding as the foundation. To address ignorance, attachment, and aversion, we must start with understanding. This understanding goes beyond recognizing the external causes of conflict and delves into the inner workings of our own minds. Through understanding, we can grasp the impermanent nature of our emotions, thoughts, and the external world. We begin to recognize the interconnectedness of all beings, which dissolves the illusion of a separate, unchanging self. This foundational understanding forms the basis for more harmonious interactions. Empathetic understanding. Empathy is a natural extension of understanding. As we deepen our understanding of the impermanence and interconnectedness of all beings, we naturally become more empathetic toward the experiences of others. We recognize that their actions and emotions, just like our own, are influenced by a complex web of factors. Empathetic understanding enables us to meet others where they are, without judgment or aversion. By embracing their experiences as valid and significant, we foster a sense of trust and connection. Conflict resolution. Understanding also plays a pivotal role in conflict resolution. When we understand the root causes of conflict, we can address them more skillfully. Instead of reacting with defensiveness or hostility, we can respond with patience and a genuine desire to resolve the issue. Understanding paves the way for effective communication, compromise, and reconciliation. It allows us to transcend the boundaries of ignorance, attachment, and aversion, and create space for the growth and healing of our relationships. In the grand exploration of human relationships and the reasons people may come to hate us, Buddhism offers a profound guide. By understanding the roots of ignorance, attachment, and aversion, and employing the tools of mindfulness, compassion, and understanding, we can transform our interactions into sources of love, connection, and growth. As we navigate the intricate dance of human emotions, let the wisdom of Buddhism inspire us to cultivate self-awareness, empathy, and kindness. Through these principles, we can dissolve the barriers that separate us from others and create a world filled with compassion, understanding, and spiritual enlightenment. In the end, it is not just about understanding why people may hate us, but about fostering a profound change within ourselves. By becoming beacons of love and wisdom, we have the power to inspire positive change in the hearts of others, leading to a more harmonious and interconnected world for all.